Hey there, welcome to Choxy's Den. Back again for another video. Back in the same old spot. I had to find another spot, I think, to make some videos. I got some kitchen over there. I can sit in front of my cabinets and my windows. But it's a daylight video, and I gotta close my curtains behind me so the light's not glaring in. So many problems, so many problems in the world. But I got a question for some of you guys, girls out there. When did um, when did respect for your elders stop being a thing? Because I remember when I was a kid, if you're my age, I'm 62. I've said that before. When I was a kid, even up until now, again, I forget the last time I did this because a lot of my friends, their parents have passed away, and I don't see them that much. But like say I had a friend named Tom Smith. And his parents' names were like Joe and Carolyn Smith. I wouldn't call them Joe and Carolyn. Up until now, if I see them, I call them Mr. Hey, Mr. Smith, how you doing? Hey, Mr. Smith, how you doing today? I don't. They're my elders, so I show them respect. And when did we lose that? I think it started like back in the '80s or '90s or something. Like people would just tell their kids, call your neighbor Joe. Don't say Mr. Smith or whatever. His name's Joe. He's a little 8-year-old kid, 4-year-old kid. Hey, Joe. How you doing, Joe? You know, people just stop teaching their kids to respect and, show some respect for their elders. And I've always been like this. I've always been, even now, like if somebody's older than me, I don't call them Mister This and Mister That, but I just you treat them differently. Like you get some kind of respect for them. They've been around for a while, and you gotta try to show it to them. But when did this happen? If you guys noticed this, what are the kind of examples out there? Like uncle, aunt, you know, some people don't even. Some of these kids, the younger generation, don't even call their like if they have an uncle or an aunt. They don't call them Uncle Eddie or whatever. Not the one from Vacation. He's a good guy, but no Uncle Eddie. They don't show them respect and say, "Hi, Uncle Eddie." It's, "Hey, Eddie." Yeah, it's just show a little respect. A little like it really. You notice it all everywhere, and not just the name thing, but it's just the way younger people treat older people. I know. Right now is a big thing against boomers. Everybody say, boomers, it's all the boomers' fault. I don't care. It's not the boomers' fault. It's everybody's fault in this country, the way things have gotten. I blame the greatest generation. Everybody's gonna hate to hear that, but I blame them. I love my father, my father and his brothers, all my uncles and aunts. They're the greatest generation. My father and his brothers were in World War II. My mother's brothers and her brothers were in World War II. They were the greatest generation. But when they came back, I think they saw how bad things were in the other parts of the world where they were fighting. And I think it made them want to spoil us. I'm not a boomer. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm right on the line. I was born in '63, at the end of '63. So I'm right on the line there somewhere between boomer and Generation X. But all my brothers and sisters, I have two brothers, two sisters. They're boomers. They're older than me. But and they're good people. I mean, we all think a lot. When we vote and everything, except for one, he doesn't talk to us anymore. Liberal. Sorry to say that, but he's the liberal. He doesn't want to talk to us anymore, and so whatever. But I think the greatest generation when they came back, they kind of spoiled the boomers a little bit, the boomer babies, and with good reason, because the greatest generation they went through World War II, they went through the Great Depression when they were younger, when they were kids, and they knew what it was like not to have things. So, I guess I'm not blaming them like, oh, you jerks. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just it's the way the natural cycle went that I think they felt like they had to treat their kids extra special by giving them things that the kids didn't deserve, basically. You know, like me. I wasn't spoiled, and my father was a firefighter in Boston. So, and my mother was a stay-at-home mom. She had mental illness, so she couldn't work anyway. And it might run in the family. Maybe I'm mentally ill. You don't even know it yet. No, I am. I am. I'm not going to deny that. But not. I've been diagnosed with it, but I know I'm mentally ill. I mean, come on, look at me. I'm sitting here talking to a camera. But I think they came back and they things were good in the country. Plenty of jobs. Manufacturing was good. People had money. Not a lot of money, but people were getting by. And if they had some money left over to, you know, spoil their kids a little bit, they did it. And they didn't just spoil with money. They spoiled with. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything bad about the greatest generation, but I think generation wasn't just spoiled with money. It was spoiled with, I think, a lot of leniency. Let's say, because when I was growing up, you can still get a spanking from your dad. If you did something wrong, it's back at the bell. Somebody like beat the crap out of me or nothing. But I wasn't a good kid when I was younger. I mean, I grew into a good guy, I think. But there was one time, and he belted me with a belt really good in the butt. I was like 9, maybe 10 years old, maybe a little younger, maybe 8, 9 years old. And I got the bright idea that when he was at work, I knew where I could find money in the house. It was in my mother's purse. Not proud of it, but I used to steal money from my own mother when I was a little kid. Because I was a jerk. I was a little punk. And what I do is I go to my mother's room. I say, Mom, I'm going to change my pants. So I go in her room and go through a pocketbook and take like a 10 or 20 or whatever. He didn't make a lot of money, so he noticed it missing. He'd leave her a little bit of money every day. And she never went out. She was mentally ill, so she hardly ever left the house. So she'd have a little bit of money in her pocket, in her purse, and I'd go in and take it. I wouldn't take it all. I wasn't stupid. I'd take maybe half, which was still pretty stupid. And after a month or so, he noticed it. I think he caught me one day. I don't know how he caught me, but I think he put the money in there. Then he came home and asked her if she spent any money. He knew there was no money, and so he figured it out as me. And I admitted to it, and he didn't take joy in it. He told me he didn't do it out of anger. That's the difference between child abuse and child rearing. Not literally rearing in the butt, but between discipline and abuse. Because he made me wait in my room for a while, and he called me out to the kitchen, put me over his knee, and he started hitting me in the butt. I think he counted them. Or I counted them. Somebody was counting them. I think it was like 12 times he hit me or something like that. And I guarantee he didn't hit me as hard as he could. Because my father's a strong guy. I would have been able to walk for a week. What he was probably doing was going and then like slowing down at the end, making me think he was hitting me hard. But at the end of it, I'll never forget this because this hurt more than the belt. And the belt here hurt. I mean, he was whacking me. But what he said to me was, I can never trust you again. I was like 8 or 9 years old. The effect that had on me back then was worse than any beating. And my dad, I got a whole life ahead of me. I'm 8 years old, 9 years old. I got my whole life. My own father isn't gonna be able to trust me again. That made me cry cry. Because I couldn't stand the thought of that. And so after that, I never stole from my mother again. I hardly ever stole from anybody. I'd steal like little stuff like I'd never steal from a store or anything. Actually, I wouldn't steal anything. I just but I just never consciously stole anything. I'm trying to think of if I ever stole anything after that. I mean, I wasn't like totally like a saint or anything, but I don't think I stole anything after that because that had a lasting effect on me. And I was trying my best to get back where he could trust me, and I think I did before he died. I died when I was like 27. And I'm pretty sure I got his trust back because I grew up a pretty good guy, pretty good kid, and but that one time, that's all it took was that the belt and him saying that he could never trust me again, and I learned. And that's respect. That's how you get respect. And now you can't, and that's another thing that happened in the 80s. The government said, oh, you can't, no more corporal punishment for your children. because you hear about kids getting beat up by their parents and stuff, and that's not good. If you gotta be abusive like that. But I was gonna say, I think it would hurt my father more than it hurt me when he had to do that to me, because I think he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to have to do that to me, and but some parents like beating their kids. That's what the government. So they made a blanket thing. No more no more corporal punishment for your kid. You can't hit your kid because your kid goes to school and says, "Oh, my father hit me with a belt." Next thing you know, they're in court. For no reason really. Because the Bible says, "Spare the rod, spoil the child," and I believe that. And I don't have any kids, and I don't even know if I would have been able to hit my kids, but they took away the right to do it, and then kids, go stand in the corner. You got time out, and the kids are standing there. Yeah, okay, yeah, this really hurts. Yeah, that was all back in the '80s, and it was just it really shaped the country the way it is now. Because the generations behind me, a lot of them are younger than 40, I'd say. They don't. There's no consequences for their actions. That's why I get all these protesters out in the street. They never suffer any consequences of their actions. And I think that's part of it. The trophy, everybody gets a trophy generation. I know, I have 6 subscribers. I hope I don't lose any of you over this stuff. But I have to say what's on my mind. I'm not gonna pretend to, think a way I don't think. But I think, hey, there's Choxy. No, hey, there's Choxy. Choxy was in the bedroom a little while. There you go. There's Choxy. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. My Choxy. And anyway, getting back to what I was saying, I think that's part of what the problem is in this country now is a lot of these younger generations, they stop respecting their elders, for one thing. They stopped being accountable for their actions, and they stop being respectful, and they just think they can do whatever they want, basically. Which is a good thing. Freedom's good, but not at the expense of other people. You're going to go out and block traffic, and people need to get to a doctor or hospital appointments in the middle of the road blocking traffic. That's not being respectful. It's not. Okay? Stand on the side of the road with your signs, and you don't have to disrupt traffic and everything like that. That's just stupid. It's stupid. So bye to my 6 subscribers if I offended you. Hope I don't. But there's no sense in me having a channel if I'm not going to speak my mind and see what other people think. And hopefully the channel grows a little bit. But that's what that's one of the things I was thinking about the other day. This lack of respect for people's elders, because I see things on YouTube. There'll be like a panel of people, like guys my age on it, and then you got these young 20, 30 something looking guys. I'm gonna kick you. I'm gonna kick you. To an old guy. I mean, come on. When I was in my 20s and 30s, if I got mad at like an older guy like me, I just there's an old guy. Okay, never mind. But that's a sign of this weakness. You gotta go after somebody who's weaker than you. I'm not saying that. Well, I am weak. I've got CIDP and everything. I'd fight back. I might get in a couple of good shots, but I go up against a 20 or 30-year-old, even a 40-year-old. I'm probably not gonna have a good chance of walking away the victor. Say it that way. And but it's not like that these days. You can't trust anybody. That's why there's an old saying like, I'm an old guy, so I'm not getting into a fight. I'm just gonna stop you from trying to hurt me. That's the frame of mind I'm in. If I ever get in a situation like that, I'm gonna do anything I can to stop you from trying to hit me. I'm not gonna do like in the old days when I was a kid, street fighting. It's just it ain't gonna work with a younger guy. So what else was I gonna touch on today? There was another thing I was gonna think about. Oh, joy. Where's the joy? Another thing that the younger generation's got no joy, except when they're on social media like bashing each other or something. But I was driving around the other day. I listen to podcasts. I listen to some music on my YouTube music video thing, and I put on the song "You're Just Too Good to Be True," and I was singing it to Choxy, and it goes on a loop, and they add other songs on afterwards. And a song from the Monkees came on that I'm a Believer. I think it was I'm a Believer. One of those songs by the Monkees. And I'm driving along, and I'm singing along with it, and I'm thinking, the music today is lousy. I can't listen. I can't turn the radio on and listen to music because there's nothing new that I can stand because it all sounds the same. And if you turn on other channels, you listen to like Aerosmith and Led Zeppelin and everything else that I've heard a million times. I love it, but I've heard it a million times. I don't want to hear Aerosmith every day on my radio just driving down the street. Okay, it's 40 years of Aerosmith is enough. I like Aerosmith. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to put my radio on and have Aerosmith. Aerosmith. Okay. The Who. Here comes the Who. Isn't that's music is old, and we have no good new good music to listen to on the radio. So I'm listening to the Monkees. I'm thinking these kids nowadays have no clue like what it was like when we were younger. If you're my age, and you're driving down the street and you turn on the radio and you got the Monkees, you got all this goofy music that you can listen to, and it kind of makes you feel good because it's like it's just, the music is so stupid and it's like upbeat, and you like even what's that song? Sugar pie, honey bunch, whatever it is. You know I love you. No, not that one, not that one. What's the other one? Why do you build me up, buttercup baby, just to let me down? That song. This girl is basically blowing this guy off, but he's all upbeat about it. Why do you blow me up, baby? It's just that was like music it was supposed to be, upbeat. I think they call that ghosting nowadays. Did I touch on this in my last video? Ghosting? I don't think I did, but I didn't know what ghosting was until 5 or 6 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. I forget. The last woman I was interested in, she was younger than me, maybe 7 years younger or something. She was in her late 40s. I think I was in my mid 50s or something. And things were going good. We weren't dating or anything, but I thought we were going in that direction. Then all of a sudden, she just like bango, nothing from her. Like okay, and then like a 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, she just texts me out of the blue, saying, "I'm sorry I ghosted you back then." I gotta Google what ghosting means. And I Google it, and it means basically blow you off and not talk to you anymore. Why can't you just say that? Just say, I didn't want to talk to you anymore, so I blew you off. I didn't even text her back. You know what I did? I ghosted her. Yep. Because by that time I was like, I don't even want to deal with her. I'm just done. Done with women and done with being. Not done with women, but you know what I mean. I'm not gonna turn the other way. But I'm happy by myself. Me and my dog are happy. Like Choxy, right? Choxy agrees. But I don't know. I just figured I'd make a video because I haven't made a video in a couple of days, and I want to get the channel going. And eventually, I'm gonna find a new spot to sit because I love this quilt that my niece made for me. Did I ever tell you guys about my quilt my niece made for me for Christmas? I love this quilt. But I gotta find somebody else to sit once in a while too, because just I look at the thumbnails of my videos and I look. I'm in the same spot every time. Different face, but different. I might change my shirt once in a while. I don't know if I wore this one yet, but a couple of those videos I had the same sweatshirt on at least twice. I think. Yeah, probably. So yeah, I'm not Gilligan. I'm not the skipper. I'm not gonna wear the same clothes every time I make a video. So I gotta change my wardrobe up a little bit maybe and find a new spot to sit. And I might post this video. I might not. I probably will because I have nothing better to do today. But I gotta figure out how to do put text on here or something. I put some text up here right over my head here somewhere. I come up with a name for this video, which I don't know what it's gotta be. So maybe I'll call it "Hey, we're the Monkees" or something. I don't know. But anyway, people, I'm just gonna send it. I'm gonna hit stop right now, and I've got some chicken boiling for Choxy for her dinner, which I always do every day. Give her some chicken breast, and hope you had a good weekend. It's Saturday afternoon, 3:00, and snowing out again here in New England. So I'm not doing much of anything today. I went out earlier, got some food. I got good comfort food. I don't know if you guys like tomato soup with tuna sandwiches. That's what I'm having for dinner. Snowy, cold day. Nice tuna fish sandwich on white bread with some tomato soup. I can taste it already. And I'm trying to get away from that stuff. I'm trying to eat better, and that's not going too well. I'm trying to do the high protein, high fat diet. I'm not going to say what it is because there's so many videos about it. And then eventually, if I can stick to it, I might make a couple videos saying what it is. Carnivore. Okay, I let the cat out of the bag. I'm trying to do carnivore and I can't seem to stick to it. But I'm trying. I did it before. And I'm gonna try it again. But just not today because it's snowy and I want tomato soup and tuna fish sandwich. So that's what I'm gonna do. But anyway, people, thanks for listening. Hope I didn't lose my 6 subscribers by my social rant. But hope to get more subscribers. But thank you 6 for tuning in, for subscribing, even if I lose you. It was nice having you here. But I hope everybody's having a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, this is Chuck. He's done. Over and out.